I'm meeting Richard Fennell. Richard is the founder. Is it?
Yeah, I'm the
founder?
engineering director of Black Marble.
Black Marble.
Yes.
It's a consulting company.
Yeah, we're a Microsoft Gold partner based in Yorkshire, in the north of England. We do pretty much any development, but the bulk of our work these days is split between collaborative work, working with SharePoint, BizTalk, Microsoft technologies along those lines, writing customised modules for them, and we also do quite a bit of consultancy in a software development process, which is what I tend to specialise in.
And what is your reason to be here at the Software Craftsmanship conference today?
I attended the event that was run last year at the BBC, and I felt it was the most valuable event I went to in the whole year. And I went to things like the Microsoft PDCs, variety of community conferences like Developer Days, and I felt I got more out of the Software Craftsmanship because it brought together a different community. It brought together a really good cross-cultural community. There were Java developers, there were a few Ruby developers last year, a lot more here this year, and there were .NET developers like myself. So I got to see that we all suffer the same problems, we all have the same techniques, and you can sit and argue and talk around languages and which is best, which is worst, but fundamentally we're trying to solve the same broad type of technical problem. And we need to bring the same skills to bear, and the term craftsmanship fits in really nicely. We have to learn our craft. It isn't something you get by flicking through a book or sitting a vendor exam, or frankly even doing a computer science degree. It comes with some experience and time, and that whole craftsmanship apprenticeship view that you build up, you pair with people's, both physically coding, but just pair with people in your career progression. Your junior developers work with an older developer to move forwards and have their eyes open, and it's a really nice feel for the way I think the industry should run. So I've come back this year because I enjoyed last year's conference so much.
What does software craftsmanship mean for you? In one sentence, what was the most important for you?
It's in one sentence. It's hard to put in one sentence, but I think I'd sum it up in that it's people caring about wanting to do their job to the best of their abilities to produce a beautiful object. If you're a joiner, you want to make a beautiful bookcase, you want to do it to the best of your abilities, and if you're writing software, shouldn't you be doing the same? It should look beautiful, it should be elegant, it should be the best of your abilities. Yeah. How you measure beautiful, it might be that it has to be robust, it might be that it has to be fast, but you're measuring it to do the best that you can, and you're trying to bring whatever you can bear to do that. And I've gone over one sentence quite a way already, haven't I? But there's also this view of continual personal development, in that I can do it like this now, but I need in the future to be willing to take on the next way of doing stuff. New languages, new techniques are always appearing, and what I did 5 years ago, some of it's vital to what I do now, but an awful lot of it was stuff that was specific to the time, because the languages have changed, the tools that are available to me. And so it must be that as a craftsman I must be willing to look at, there's always new opportunities, there's new things. My education didn't stop when I finished my degree, which unfortunately I fear is far too common in our industry, that people feel they've come out with their computer science degree, give me a large salary, and they don't feel that they need to continue to carry on learning to do anything else, to keep developing.
Does it make sense for a consulting company to embrace the values of software craftsmanship?
Yeah, I think it certainly does. I think anybody in any profession should embrace the views of craftsmanship. You should aim to do your job to the best of your ability and continue to try and improve in doing that. We're a bit of a split culture company in the sense that we do development. So internally, yes, we want to bring on our staff in a craftsman-like apprenticeship model, bringing people through. But I go out to a lot of companies, often large corporates who have an internal development division. And I consult quite a lot in the area of Team Foundation Server, Visual Studio 2010. And they'll go in because they want to move onto the latest version of Visual Studio. And as soon as you get in there, you can start talking about the basic tools that they're using. What source control do they use? How do they track work items? How do they report to management that work's being done? But it takes minutes in most companies to suddenly realise the issue isn't the tool they're using. It's the mindset behind of the staff. Too many of their staff have appeared. They've come in, they sit down, they view their job as I come in at 9, I go home at 5, that's it, I do what I do, they'll pay me anyway. I'm not aiming to learn new stuff. I'm not aiming to push the boundaries. I'm not aiming to put my view in as to how I can make this thing better. So if you can go in there as the consultant and expose people to these craftsman-like views, say, yes, you can do this, but have you heard that? This might not cost the company any money to do this, but have you thought about using this technique? What do you do about getting new members of the team to feel like they're members of the team? All of those things the consultant is very well placed to do, and they all fit in very nicely with craftsmanship. Even if you can just get in and manage to introduce the fact that say, well, why don't you do a Friday training? Why don't you do a 1 hour training on a Friday where you do some a coding dojo of some description, or you get everybody to stand up on a cycle and do a half-hour presentation on something that they've done interesting in coding. Hopefully it starts to engender that I can improve, I want to get better. Because there's what, I heard there's 130 at this conference, but it's the same faces. And it is when you go to a lot of community events, it's the same faces. And the people you need to reach are the people who are not here, the people who don't sit and watch the video webcasts. They don't turn up to conferences at all, they don't read books. It's reaching out to that group, and arguably I'd say the consultant is better placed to talk to that group than anybody else, because at least we get to see them.
Are there any other group or other organization trying to do similar kind of conferences?
It's an interesting question, that, in that I haven't heard of any other group that's claiming to be a software craftsman conference. And a lot of user groups tend to be quite product specific. We are a Ruby group, or we are a Java group. But there are some others around there. The alt.net organisation is probably stretching the point too far, but the alt.net conferences does have a nice wide breach, and certainly my local user group up in Yorkshire, Agile Yorkshire, is a very cross-language, cross-cultural area, and we do cover an awful lot of the same areas of ground, like having group coding dojos and the like. So there is a move towards it, and maybe that's a good way to try and drag other people into it, because not everybody can make it to conferences like this, but hopefully anybody can find one day a month, one evening a month, to go and have a pint and do a bit of coding and talk to like-minded people.
Thank you very much, Richard, for your time.
Okay, thank you.
I enjoyed the discussion.
Right.